Perseverance builds strength in a way that no other quality can. It is the quiet force that moves people through challenges, setbacks, and long periods of difficulty when success seems distant. While talent, intelligence, and opportunity are important, they often fade in comparison to the power of simply refusing to give up. Strength, in its truest form, is not just physical or even intellectual. It is emotional and mental endurance developed over time. This strength comes from choosing to show up, keep trying, and continue forward, especially when things are difficult or uncertain. Perseverance is not just about surviving hard times, it's about using them to grow stronger and more capable. Everyone experiences moments in life when they want to give up. These moments are not signs of weakness, but rather normal parts of the human experience. What separates those who ultimately succeed from those who don't is the ability to keep going despite these feelings. Strength doesn't appear all at once. It is cultivated like a muscle. The more it is used, the more it grows. The person who perseveres learns how to handle pressure, how to deal with failure, and how to adapt to new situations. This adaptability is a kind of strength that no amount of luck or natural talent can replace. Life has a way of testing people, often in unexpected ways. It may be through the loss of a job, the end of a relationship, financial hardship, illness, or simply a series of disappointments. During these times, it is easy to lose motivation. The voice of doubt becomes louder, and it's tempting to believe that nothing will ever improve. But these are precisely the moments when perseverance begins to work its magic. Choosing to keep going, even in small ways, getting out of bed, applying for one more job, trying again, becomes an act of personal power. Each of these small decisions contributes to inner strength, often without the person even realizing it. There is also a kind of self-respect that comes from not giving up. When someone chooses to persevere, they are sending a message to themselves that they are worth fighting for. This sense of worth becomes part of their character and begins to shape how they approach the rest of their life. They begin to trust themselves more, knowing that they have the ability to endure. This trust is vital, especially in a world that often feels unpredictable. Knowing that you have stayed strong before gives you the confidence to face future uncertainty with a greater sense of calm and control. Perseverance also builds strength through the development of patience and focus. In a world that rewards instant results and quick gratification, the ability to stay committed to a long-term goal is becoming increasingly rare and valuable. It's easy to get distracted, to chase quick wins or give in to frustration, but the person who perseveres develops a kind of clarity. They learn to ignore distractions and stay focused on what truly matters. They also learn how to manage frustration, to be okay with slow progress, and to see value in the process rather than just the outcome. Another important way perseverance builds strength is through repeated exposure to failure and recovery. When someone tries and fails and then tries again, they begin to see failure not as an end but as part of the journey. They learn to reframe failure as feedback. Instead of feeling defeated, they start to ask, "What can I learn from this?" This mindset shift is one of the strongest traits a person can have. It allows them to take risks, explore new ideas, and continue improving. It gives them the courage to face life with boldness instead of fear. Often, the rewards of perseverance don't show up right away. There may be long stretches of time when it seems like nothing is changing. This is why strength also includes the ability to believe in something before it becomes visible. It means having the faith to keep going even when there is no immediate evidence that your efforts are working. This kind of belief is not about being blindly optimistic. It is a deeper, more grounded belief that consistent effort has power, that progress is not always obvious, and that showing up matters more than we realize. The people who build the most meaningful lives are often not those who had everything go smoothly, but those who kept going through periods of struggle, their strength was not handed to them, it was earned. They became strong by continuing forward when it was hard. They grew through pain, through effort, and through persistence. They became leaders, creators, healers, and innovators because they did not stop. They kept trying, learning, falling, and rising. In doing so, they built a kind of strength that no one could take away. In the end, perseverance teaches a simple but powerful lesson, that the act of continuing, even in the face of difficulty, creates something profound. It builds inner resources that last far beyond the challenges themselves. It shapes character, develops grit, and forms a quiet kind of courage, and it proves over and over that strength is not about never struggling, but about struggling and still choosing to go on. Success is often portrayed as the result of dramatic moments, intense efforts, or bursts of inspiration. But in reality, it is usually built through small, steady actions taken over time. Consistency beats intensity because it creates habits, builds momentum, and produces lasting change. Intensity can be powerful, but it tends to be short-lived. It is the spark that starts a fire, while consistency is the fuel that keeps it burning. People often get excited about new goals or big plans and throw themselves into action with passion. But when that initial energy fades, as it inevitably does, it is consistency that determines whether they keep going or fall off track. In many areas of life, from health and fitness to learning and career growth, the key to progress is not doing something big once, but doing something small repeatedly. A person who exercises for 10 minutes every day will see better long-term results than someone who works out for 2 hours once a month. The reason is simple. Consistency creates routine, and routine becomes automatic. Once a habit becomes part of daily life, it no longer requires the same mental energy to maintain. This removes the need to constantly rely on motivation, which is often unreliable. People don't always feel motivated, but they can train themselves to be consistent. Intensity can feel exciting and impressive in the moment, but it can also be overwhelming. When people set goals that are too intense, such as radically changing their diet overnight or trying to learn a new language in a week, they often burn out quickly. The pressure becomes too much, and when they inevitably fall short of their unrealistic expectations, they become discouraged and give up entirely. In contrast, those who take a more gradual, consistent approach may not make headlines or post dramatic before and after pictures, but they build progress that lasts. Their results may take longer to show, but they are more sustainable because they are grounded in routine and discipline rather than adrenaline. Consistency also builds trust, both with others and with oneself. When a person shows up regularly, whether it's for work, family, friendships, or personal goals, they send a message that they are reliable and committed. This reliability becomes part of their identity. Others begin to count on them, and more importantly, they begin to count on themselves. This internal trust is powerful. When someone knows they will follow through on what they say, it increases their confidence and sense of control. They no longer have to wonder if they will keep going because they have proven through action that they will. Another reason consistency is so effective is that it compounds over time. Much like compound interest in a bank account, small efforts done regularly can lead to huge returns in the future. Reading for 10 minutes a day might not seem like much, but over a year, that adds up to over 60 hours of learning. Writing a few hundred words daily can lead to a finished book. Saving a small amount of money each week turns into a meaningful financial cushion. These gains are not always visible right away, which is why it's easy to underestimate the power of consistency. But over time, the results become undeniable. It's also worth noting that consistency doesn't mean perfection. People often confuse the two and give up when they make a mistake or miss a day. But true consistency allows for setbacks. It recognizes that life is messy and that sometimes things don't go as planned. The key is not to be flawless, but to return to the path quickly after slipping. Missing a workout or skipping a day of study is not the problem. It's allowing one missed day to turn into a missed week, then a missed month. People who understand the value of consistency forgive themselves quickly, adjust, and keep going. This kind of mindset leads to resilience and long-term success. What makes consistency challenging is that it often feels boring, the results come slowly, and there is little excitement in repeating the same action day after day. But this is also where the strength lies. The person who can stay committed despite the lack of drama, who can push forward without needing constant stimulation, becomes incredibly powerful. They don't rely on external motivation. They create internal discipline. They understand that excellence is not built in moments of hype, but in the quiet, repeated acts of effort and attention. In work environments, relationships, and personal development, the most respected and successful individuals are rarely the ones who made the biggest splash. They are the ones who consistently showed up, delivered quality, and kept improving. Their reputation is built not on a single achievement, but on a long track record of dependability. Employers trust them, clients respect them, and peers look up to them, not because they did something amazing once, but because they are there doing good work day after day. Ultimately, consistency beats intensity because it reflects a deeper commitment. It shows that someone is not just chasing results, but is invested in the process. They are willing to work when it's not exciting, to stay the course when others quit, and to keep showing up even when no one is watching. This quiet strength is what separates those who achieve lasting success from those who burn out or give up. The journey may be longer, but the foundation it builds is unshakable. Consistency doesn't just lead to success, it transforms a person into someone who is capable of achieving almost anything. Progress is often imagined as a series of big breakthroughs or dramatic achievements, but in reality, it is made up of small, consistent actions. Every step matters, no matter how minor it may seem in the moment. Each choice, each decision, each effort contributes to the larger picture, even if the results are not immediately visible. People tend to overlook the value of daily actions, believing that success only comes from massive change or bold moves. But it is the accumulation of those small steps, taken over time, that leads to lasting transformation. Nothing meaningful is built all at once. A house is constructed brick by brick, a journey is traveled step by step, and a dream is realized through hundreds of quiet efforts. Many people hesitate to begin working toward their goals because the path seems too long or the destination too far. They get stuck thinking about how much more they have to do instead of focusing on what they can do today, but the truth is every step forward brings them closer, even if it's a tiny one. A single paragraph written brings a book one paragraph closer to completion. One healthy meal is a step toward better wellness. One honest conversation strengthens a relationship. These actions may not seem significant alone, but their value increases over time. Consistency, even at a small scale, is far more powerful than bursts of effort followed by long periods of inaction. Sometimes the steps we take feel invisible or unrecognized. No one applauds the person who wakes up early to study a little each day. There is no trophy for skipping fast food in favor of something nutritious, or for doing 5 push-ups in the morning when you don't feel like exercising. Yet these actions are the foundation of real growth. They teach discipline, build trust, and slowly reshape the path a person is on. Over weeks, months, or years, those choices accumulate. They become habits, then part of identity. People look back and realize how far they've come, not because of one massive decision, but because they kept moving step after step. There's also a hidden benefit to taking small steps, momentum. Starting is often the hardest part. Once you begin, however, each step makes the next one easier. Momentum builds through motion. When someone does something small toward their goal, they often feel more motivated, more confident, and more in control. That energy carries them into the next action. Over time, a routine develops and progress starts to feel natural. The person who once struggled to start now finds it easier to keep going. The path that seemed impossible begins to feel achievable, all because they took that first step and refused to stop. It's easy to compare ourselves to others and feel like we're not moving fast enough. Social media, television, and stories of overnight success can create unrealistic expectations, but these stories often hide the years of effort, the countless small steps that led to the visible result. Comparing your progress to someone else's highlight reel only creates frustration and doubt. Instead, the focus should be on your own journey. What matters most is not how fast you're going, but that you are going. Every step you take in the right direction is a victory. Even when progress is slow, it is still progress. There will be times when it feels like your efforts aren't making a difference. Days when the work feels pointless, when you're tired, or when setbacks make you question your direction. These are the moments when people often quit, but it's important to remember that growth is not always visible. Seeds grow underground before they break the surface. Muscles strengthen even when you can't see the change right away. Skills sharpen slowly through repetition. Trust that your effort is doing something even if the results are not immediate. Keep going, keep stepping because it all matters. Sometimes a step forward doesn't look like progress at all. Resting can be a step. Reflecting, changing course, asking for help, these are all steps too. Progress is not always linear. Life is complex, and the path to any meaningful goal will include ups and downs, pauses, and even moments that feel like going backward. But as long as you keep engaging with the journey and refusing to quit, you are still moving forward. Progress includes failure and recovery. It includes learning and adapting. Each step, even the ones that feel wrong or uncertain, is part of the larger story. In time, those small steps lead to big changes: a new career, a healthier body, a stronger mind, a better relationship, a fulfilled dream. They all begin the same way, with a decision to act, followed by consistent, small movements forward. The person who respects the value of every step becomes someone who never feels helpless or stuck. They know they have the power to influence their future, one choice at a time. What separates those who succeed from those who don't is not talent or luck, but the willingness to take each step even when it's hard, boring, or slow. There is power in persistence. There is growth in repetition. And there is wisdom in understanding that every single step, no matter how small, matters more than you can imagine. Challenges are not obstacles to avoid, but essential parts of the growth process. They test our abilities, push our limits, and often bring out strengths we didn't know we had. Without difficulty, there is no real progress. It is through facing resistance that we become stronger, wiser, and more capable. While many people fear challenges or wish for easier paths, the truth is that every significant achievement in life involves struggle. Growth does not come from comfort. It comes from discomfort, effort, and persistence through adversity. The experiences that stretch us are the ones that shape us. When a person encounters a challenge, their initial reaction is often frustration, fear, or self-doubt. This is natural. We are wired to avoid pain and seek ease, but challenges carry lessons that cannot be learned any other way. They reveal weaknesses, yes, but they also point the way toward improvement. A difficult exam shows where more study is needed. A failed relationship highlights areas for emotional growth. A financial setback forces a new level of discipline or creativity. Each struggle contains the seeds of something better, if we are willing to look for it. One of the most important things challenges do is shift our perspective. They force us to reevaluate what we think we know, how we approach problems, and what we truly want. When things are going well, it's easy to stay in the same patterns. There is no urgency to change or reflect, but when life becomes difficult, it demands attention. It makes us stop and think. It pushes us to grow beyond what is familiar. Many people discover their values, passions, or purpose during hard times. Difficulty clears away the noise and brings clarity. What matters most becomes visible when comfort is stripped away. Challenges also build resilience, which is one of the most valuable qualities a person can have. Resilience is not about never falling, it's about getting back up. Every time someone faces a challenge and chooses to keep going, they strengthen this muscle. They learn that they can survive setbacks, adapt to change, and move forward even when things are tough. This inner strength becomes a foundation for future growth. Life will never be free of problems, but the resilient person knows they can face whatever comes. They carry a quiet confidence, earned not through ease, but through perseverance. Growth often requires failure. This is difficult for many to accept because failure can be painful and humiliating, but it is also informative. It teaches us what doesn't work, shows us where we need to improve, and humbles us in ways that success cannot. No one becomes great at anything without falling short first. The artist paints many bad pictures before creating a masterpiece. The entrepreneur fails at several ventures before building a successful business. The athlete loses countless games before becoming a champion. What sets these people apart is not perfection, but their ability to learn from difficulty and keep going. Failure is not the opposite of growth, it is a part of it. There is also emotional growth that comes from facing challenges. Struggles teach empathy, patience, and self-awareness. A person who has been through pain often becomes more understanding of others. They learn to appreciate what they have, to be grateful for simple things, and to approach life with greater humility. The heart softens through hardship. This emotional depth adds richness to a person's character. It helps them connect with others, lead with compassion, and build deeper relationships. Some of the most inspiring people are those who have suffered and grown kinder because of it. Challenges demand action. They force us to engage with life instead of drifting through it. When everything is easy, it's tempting to become passive. But when things are hard, we have to respond. We have to make decisions, solve problems, and find strength we didn't know we had. This active engagement with life creates a sense of purpose. We are no longer just existing. We are growing, we are evolving. The effort we put into overcoming obstacles gives life meaning. Struggle adds weight to our accomplishments and pride to our progress. It's also important to understand that challenges are not a sign of failure or unworthiness. Everyone faces them, even those who seem to have perfect lives. Often, the people who appear the strongest are those who have endured the most. Their strength was not given to them. It was built through countless hours of fighting battles no one saw. Behind every success story is a backstory filled with hardship, doubt, and perseverance. The mistake is believing that we are alone in our struggle. We are not. Challenges are part of the shared human experience, and everyone who grows must pass through them. Over time, people who embrace challenges begin to welcome them. They may not enjoy difficulty, but they understand its value. They stop running from discomfort and start using it. Each challenge becomes a stepping stone, a chance to level up. This mindset changes everything. It replaces fear with curiosity, resistance with acceptance, and passivity with action. Growth becomes a journey instead of a destination. Life becomes richer not because it's easier, but because it's fuller, more real, more meaningful, more alive. In the end, the challenges we face do not define us, but how we face them does. Growth is not a straight path. It is uneven, painful, and often unclear, but it is always worth it. Every challenge holds within it a gift, a stronger version of ourselves waiting to be uncovered.